The Carolina Panthers just made a highly controversial decision, one that could either solidify their quarterback room or completely backfire. They've re-signed 37-year-old backup quarterback Andy Dalton to a 2-year, $8 million contract with $6 million guaranteed and a max value of $10 million. At first glance, it might seem like a smart move. Dalton is a 14-year veteran who has been instrumental in the development of Bryce Young, last year's #1 overall draft pick. But when you dig deeper, this decision raises serious questions about the Panthers' long-term strategy. Are they investing in the future or wasting money on a past his prime quarterback? And does this signal doubt in Bryce Young's ability to lead this team? Let's break it all down. Andy Dalton, the mentor or the crutch? There's no denying that Andy Dalton has experience. Over 14 seasons, he's thrown for 39,500 yards, 253 touchdowns, and 150 interceptions. He's a 3-time Pro Bowler and has played for multiple teams, including the Bengals, Cowboys, Bears, Saints, and Panthers. But here's the problem. He's not a winner. Dalton's career playoff record, 0-4. His overall record as a starter in the last 5 years, 13-25. His best days, clearly behind him. So why are the Panthers paying him millions of dollars instead of investing in a younger, more dynamic backup? The answer, Bryce Young. Dalton has been a key mentor for the former Alabama star, and Young himself has advocated for Dalton's return. "Me and Andy are super close," Young said last season. "I was always leaning on him, always having conversations." Clearly, Young values Dalton's presence, but is that enough to justify this deal? Bryce Young, a franchise QB, or a bust in the making? Bryce Young was supposed to be the savior of the Carolina Panthers. The team traded up to #1 to draft him, sacrificing multiple picks and star wide receiver DJ Moore. But his rookie season was a disaster. Record as a starter, 214. Passing yards, 3,205. Touchdowns, 14. Interceptions, completion percentage, 60.9%. The numbers are ugly. He struggled with decision-making, pocket awareness, and arm strength. Yes, Carolina's offensive line was terrible. Yes, his weapons were limited. But top draft picks are supposed to elevate their teams, not crumble under pressure. And yet the Panthers are doubling down on Bryce Young and his veteran crutch, Andy Dalton. What does this move say about the Panthers? The Panthers hired Dave Canales as their new head coach, hoping he can do for Young what he did for Baker Mayfield in Tampa Bay. But does this re-signing signal that Carolina is worried about Young's development? Consider this. Most teams don't spend $8 to $10 million on a backup unless they think he might have to start. Dalton already started multiple games last season. If Young struggles early, will Dalton take over again? A franchise lost in the dark. What are the Panthers really doing? And now they're spending millions to keep a 37-year-old backup. Let that sink in. $8 million with $6 million guaranteed for a quarterback who has never won a playoff game in his 14-year career. This is a team that went 2-15 last season, a team with one of the worst offenses in the league, a team that in theory should be desperately looking for ways to improve. And yet that big offseason move, bringing back Andy Dalton. Is this a joke? Because if it is, it's not funny. Where is the bold vision for the future? Every great NFL franchise has a clear direction, a strategy, a long-term plan. The Kansas City Chiefs built around Patrick Mahomes and surrounded him with talent. The San Francisco 49ers created a dominant defense and plugged in a quarterback who fit their system. The Philadelphia Eagles went all in on Jalen Hurts, building an offense that maximized his skill set. And then there's the Carolina Panthers. No clear vision, no identity, no sense of urgency. Just bad decision after bad decision. All while their fan base suffers through another wasted season. Where is the commitment to winning? The goal of every NFL franchise should be winning a Super Bowl. Period. But let's be real, the Panthers aren't even close. They don't have a franchise quarterback yet. They don't have a top-tier offensive line. They don't have elite playmakers. So why are they spending precious cap space on a backup quarterback instead of fixing their glaring weaknesses? What the Panthers should have done instead. If Carolina was serious about winning, they would have done one of two things. One, sign a different backup who's cheaper and younger. Look, nobody is saying that having a veteran mentor is completely useless, but did it have to be Andy Dalton? There were plenty of younger, cheaper, more dynamic quarterbacks available. Gardner Minshew, 29 years old, more mobile, more upside, and just led the Colts to a winning record. Jacoby Brissett, 31 years old, has shown he can win games as a spot starter. Tyrod Taylor, 34 years old, still has some mobility and can play in a pinch. All of them would have been cheaper than Dalton, allowing Carolina to use those extra millions on real upgrades. 2. Invest in real talent around Bryce Young. If the Panthers truly believe in Bryce Young, why aren't they doing everything possible to help him succeed? Instead of spending $8 million on a 37-year-old backup, that money could have been used to upgrade the offensive line. Young was one of the most sacked quarterbacks in the NFL last season. Get a legitimate number one receiver. Carolina's receiving core is mediocre at best. Bolster the defense. A stronger defense would take pressure off Young. But no! Instead, they wasted that money on a quarterback who would likely never take a meaningful snap.